What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Hour here on FanDuel. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-host, Joey Wright. What's up, Joey?
Not a whole lot. I'm having a great day. I got to talk about Steven Spielberg this morning on a stream, which is like a dream of mine. Now I'm here with Brian and I'm here with Simon to play some pole percent. Oh man, let me tell you, I'm already having a great day.
What a day, guys! Joining us today,
Simon. Oh my God,
it's a treat. You're welcome, Joey. Guys, joining us today, only on one show with me today, but I'm lucky to get to stream with him at least once. Is our good friend Bryant Drake. You can find him on Twitter at Drake Fantasy. For those of you that do not know Mr. Brian Drake, he is a writer over at Fighting Chance Fantasy. He is the host of the Fantasy Football Hustle podcast and the host of PFF on Sirius XM. Brian, thank you so much for joining us today, my man.
Thanks for having me back. This is always a super good time. And I always feel weird when people like read their credentials. People are going to be like, man, this guy must know what he's talking about. And then they hear it and they go, this guy's he's a jack off. This is awesome. Thank you, guys.
You know what, Brian?
It's so much fun.
It's great that you're streaming with us because we set the bar low and then you get to come in and sound like the genius. As long as you go right after I go, everyone's going to sound fantastic.
Let's do it. Maybe we could find me a tight end for this week in my home league.
I think you and every team except for the team with Travis Kelce's having that problem this week. If you got Travis Kelce, you're sitting there just laughing at the 11 other teams in your league as they scramble. Do I start Cole Kmet or Noah Fant or Chiga Okonkwo? Those are all the names that we were talking about.
That's my guy. I'm debating.
We got some people in here ready for today's show. Albert saying hello, everyone. What's up, Albert? Welcome in, my friend. We got Grim Fan and Born to Laugh in here as well. Welcome in, Grim, and welcome in, Born to Laugh. Our friend Danelle Harper. What's up, Danelle? Glad to have you in here. And we had some questions to kick the show off today. We're going to get into some poll perception, but before we do that, Born to Laugh wanted to know, should they start Trevor Lawrence or Derek Carr? Drake, would you be starting Lawrence or Carr this week?
This is an easy decision. You have to start Derek Carr because you don't know. Derek Carr plays Thursday night. We don't know yet if Trevor Lawrence is going to play this week. He hasn't practiced all week long. He says he's going to, but we can't be 100% sure. Plus, pretty good matchup for Derek Carr tonight. He should throw a couple of touchdown passes. I'm starting Derek Carr.
They're back-to-back in my rankings. And because of the uncertainty around Trevor Lawrence, even though I have him one spot higher, I'll roll Derek Carr out there. What about you, Joey?
Simon, they're back-to-back in my rankings, and I have Lawrence one spot higher too. I'm just curious, where do you have Lawrence and Carr?
I've got them at 12 and 13. Lawrence at 12, Carr at 13.
Okay. All right. We're usually in sync, but it's nice to see things carry on.
So who are you rolling? Are you rolling Carr or are you rolling Lawrence, Joe?
Yeah, I'm rolling Carr. I can't, man, those injury designations. When it's this close, I'm just gonna play the safe card when they're back-to-back like this.
Grim Fan in here wanted to know Latavius Murray or James Conner. Joey, I'll throw this one to you first. So you going with Murray or Conner this week?
I'll go with Conner. I like the work that he's gotten since he's come back, I guess you could say. So it's going to be Conner for me. I don't mind Murray, but
yeah, I mean, just look at the offenses here. You've got Arizona with a chance to score a lot of points. They're pretty dynamic. James Conner has this incredible role where he gets 99% of all the running back touches in this backfield. Or Latavius Murray, who's 100 years old, and also from my hometown here in Syracuse. So shout out to us, but I'm taking James Conner here.
Shout out Syracuse, but not that big of a shout out because we don't want Latavius Murray to hear. One more question from Born to Laugh. And Drake, I'm going to use this to segue into the question you asked us before this.
Here we go.
You're debating between Foster Moreau and Chigoziem Okonkwo, if I'm not mistaken, right? That was the dilemma you were facing?
I am. I know Foster Moreau has been a top 10 tight end in 2 of the last 3 weeks because he scored a touchdown, but he's also not going over 45 yards receiving. So if he doesn't score, he's not going to come through for you. So really, I look at Chiga Okonkwo and I go, all right, well, I doubt Treylon Burks plays with the concussion. He hasn't practiced all week.
Yeah.
And really, his floor and Moreau's floor are kind of the same, but the upside for Chig is so much higher. If you look at all his metrics and, the yardage over the past few weeks and target share, like it's all in his favor. I don't know why I'm so hesitant to pull the trigger though, because I just can see sitting here and watching, it's the first time Herb Street's ever seen the Raiders play in his life and him and Al Michaels, and they score a touchdown. And I'm like, why didn't I start Foster Moreau? But he could also go, 2 for 20.
That's tight ends. That's tight ends this year. You're sitting there the whole time. And if you don't start the guy, he grabs a touchdown. If you do start him, it's going to be 3 catches for 37 yards, and you're going to be sad. I'm avoiding starting Foster Moreau if possible. And Drake, the more I think about your question, I think I would throw Okonkwo out there. Look, like they've got similar floors, but that upside with Okonkwo is just so much higher. And when you get outside of Travis Kelce, that top tier of tight ends, it's not very big. Then you're shooting for upside. Like that's what you want from these guys. So
it's a must-win, right? Yeah. Folks, you got to play to win this week. You're almost playing this week. If you're in a must-win spot, like it's DFS, everybody on the waiver wires, got to be in play for you. Who cares about your bench? You can't be saving those guys for another week. You've got to win this week.
Absolutely.
I love the person in the chat that asked if I'm the late Gilbert Gottfried's brother. I would be honored to be Gilbert Gottfried's brother. One of the greatest Howard Stern guests of all time, Gilbert Gottfried, and the voice of the parrot in one of my favorite animated series, Aladdin. So yes, I'm not, but I would be honored to be.
One of my favorite shows. It's on the Dropout TV network, which is formerly College Humor. There's a show called Make Some Noise, which is basically a revamp of Whose Line Is It Anyways? Like they're doing a bunch of improv games. They've got to make these noises, do impressions and stuff like that. And at the very end, it was a 3-person prompt or before the episode started, they put up a warning screen. They said, this episode was recorded before the passing of Gilbert Gottfried. But in honor of his love for all things bad taste, we've decided to leave the entire segment in unedited. And at the end, they just went in and there were people like that were close Gilbert Gottfried friends reaching out saying like, that was beautiful. What a great tribute. But
of course,
man, it was at the very beginning, whenever they put that up there, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be fantastic.
We need to bring back more in poor taste humor, especially in fantasy football. Let's do it.
The Gilbert Gottfried of fantasy. DJ, and you're saying what's up? What's up, DJ? Welcome in, my friend.
Brian, DJ's a big pro wrestling fan. Every time he pops in comments on our show, he's got a picture with a different female pro wrestler. I always look forward to seeing who it is.
All right. I am an Alexa Bliss fan through and through. Mm-hmm. My wife's not watching this right now, but Alexa Bliss could be my next ex-wife. I'm for it. Let's go. And I'm excited to see where her storyline takes her with Bray Wyatt.
Guys, today we are going to play some poll perception. Before we get into that, though, I wanted to give a couple reminders to everyone. First and foremost, if you're not following our guest, Brian Drake, go and fix that right now. You can find him on Twitter at Drake Fantasy, a must follow in this space.
Absolutely.
Please do.
Now, so go and hit that follow button. It's pretty easy to do. After you do that, head on back over here. If you enjoy what you're seeing, go and hit that like button if you're on Facebook or on YouTube. Nice. And subscribe to FanDuel on YouTube. Then make sure you're checking them out on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. They're everywhere at FanDuel. Easy to find. They've got a whole team of killer content creators helping you guys win some money and win some cash. And then after you do that, if you like what we're doing here, good news, you can head on over to our channel at Front Yard Fantasy for more fantasy content. And right after this show at 6:05 p.m. Eastern time, Joey and myself will be live with Andrew Cooper for Fantasy Football Office Hours, doing nothing but answering your fantasy football questions for an hour. So throughout the show today, we will be getting to your questions, but if we miss them, just know there's a whole show dedicated to it right after this. You guys want to hit one more of these before we get into our game?
God, yes. Let's help everyone. This is my favorite part of the show.
Gabe in here wanted to know what's up with Barkley. Just went to questionable. So I looked in there. He was added to their injury report today. Limited participant in practice because of a neck injury. I'm not wildly concerned. He's played every game this season. He appeared on the injury report a couple weeks back, like week 7 or 8, and he played. Drake, do you have concerns for Barkley with this addition to the injury report on Wednesday?
Well, I mean, they have to put anybody on there who gets treatment for something. So he could get a neck massage and you'd have to list him. Like we saw CMC, he got cleated in the shin. I think it was in the preseason, and they listed CMC with a shin, and people lost their mind. But any treatment you get during practice, they have to list it. But I mean, it raises an eyebrow, I guess. Make sure that you have Matt Breida rostered in a deep league if you got a spot. But no, I have no issue right now with Saquon.
Yeah, start panicking tomorrow if he doesn't practice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even today, he was a limited participant, right? So that's promising.
Just yesterday, it was DeAndre Swift. Everyone was freaking out. And then today, he was a full practice. So.
People just don't want to practice anymore. That's it in the NFL. They just don't practice. It's all play.
Got to get those reps in, people.
You got to. DJ in here wanted to know Kyler Murray or Patty Mahomes. I got to roll Mahomes. I understand the matchup. I understand that Kyler Murray is supposed to be in a shootout game this week, but I'm not benching Patrick Mahomes. What about you, Drake?
Yeah, you always play Patrick Mahomes. Even in a terrible matchup, he could throw 3 touchdowns. I mean, how else are they going to run? They're not going to run the football. This is a throwing team. So, I don't care. I get Denver's a good team and whatnot. He'll throw against anybody.
That's where I'm sitting too. What about you, Joey? Are you?
He's matchup proof. You put him in there against anybody.
Yeah, unless you have. I don't even know if there's another quarterback. I mean, unless you've got one of those top guys, and the matchups are so wildly different. But even then, Mahomes, you would just feel so bad with that dude on your bench going off for 3 touchdowns. And then one more. Jesus in here wanted to know Zeke or Travis Etienne. So, Joey, would you be rolling out Ezekiel Elliott or Travis Etienne this week?
I've got Etienne at RB14 and Zeke at RB15. I think I might switch those because that matchup against Houston, I know Pollard's there too, but 2 running backs can feast against that Houston Texans defense. They absolutely can. And I do not like the matchup against Tennessee. Tennessee is one of the best run defenses in the league. It is impossible almost to run on Tennessee. You can absolutely throw on Tennessee is what I expect to happen this week. So I would actually start Zeke over Etienne.
Drake, where are you rolling here?
I have to start Etienne in the league. So, Joey, you're breaking my heart here, but
I'm sorry.
It's true what you say about you can't really run on Tennessee. Look what Philadelphia did. They scored a bazillion points last week, but it was all through the air. And again, now we've got this issue with the Jacksonville quarterback. We don't know what his status is going to be. You would think, hey, let's lean on our running back and give him a bunch of carries and touches. But I heard an interesting stat today with Etienne. He doesn't have a game this year with over 3 receptions. That's crazy to me. Like, what is going on here? Total garbage time. I can see Zeke getting 75 yards and a touchdown. Zeke's going to score in this game. I have grave concerns about Etienne scoring against Tennessee.
I'm going to roll Zeke as well here. Zeke and Pollard are both top 12 backs for me this week against that Houston defense. I'll plug them both in on the same team. I think they're both great starts. You guys ready to get into some poll perception?
Let's play some poll perception.
Let's do it. Dustin in here says, what's up, party people? # Team Joey. You got Dustin on your team on lock, Joey. He has decided.
There was one time he wasn't. I forget why he wasn't on my team. Oh, it was Josh's last show. He was Team Josh for one show only.
That makes sense.
I allowed it.
That makes sense. Damon here with the holla.
Dame.
What's up, Dame? Welcome in, Dame. Glad to have you here. Guys, today we brought our friend Brian Drake here to play a game we call Poll Perception. It is not your first time playing, if I'm not mistaken, right, Brian? I think you played the first time.
I think I did this before. Yes, it was a good time.
So how this game works is I found 7 of the most delicious, succulent polls on Twitter before this show started. I'm going to propose one of these polls, mostly NFL or fantasy related, to one of our contestants. Joey, I may ask you, what percentage of people chose side A in this poll? You're going to set that line by giving me a percentage.
2.
Such as 2%. Now, Drake, your job after Joey does that will be to guess whether the actual percentage that chose side A is over or under Joey's guess.
Okay.
If you get that right, you're going to add 2 points to your score. Then, Joey, the closer you are, the more points you will add, up to a max of 10 if you are exactly right, 1 if you're 15 away, and it scales up within there. We will go back and forth like this, alternating who's setting the line, who's guessing over or under for 6 polls. And then on that 7th and final poll, both of you guys will be guessing a number. No more over-under nonsense at that point. Whoever's closest gets 5 points, unless you get it right on the dot, in which case you get 10. And our contestant with the most at the end of 7 polls is our poll perception champion for today. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Mr. Scampers in here said, hello, everybody.
Meow.
Welcome in, Mr. Scampers. And he said, Eric Weddle has a pretty glorious beard. I'm going to have to Google it. Oh, yeah, that is a very glorious beard. Look at the shape. It's bulbous. It's just got volume. Incredible, Mr. Scampers. Brian, I'm going to ask you, since you're our guest, the poll order has already been determined. Would you like to go first or second in today's game?
I want the ball, and I'm going to score. I'll go first.
Drake, go first.
Very confident.
Here is your first poll. And a reminder to everybody in the chat, play along with us. Throw your guesses in there. If you're exactly right, we'll shout you out. If you're close, we'll shout you out. And if you're very wrong, well, we'll probably mock you a bit, but that's okay. Here's your first poll. Who will score more points in week 14? Side A, Ezekiel Elliott. Side B, Tony Pollard. What percentage of people said Ezekiel Elliott in this poll?
44%.
Man, you're good.
44% on the Zeke side. Joey, do you think the actual percentage of people that chose the Zeke side of this poll is over or under Brian's guess of 44%.
In my head, I was like, oh, Pollard 55%, because it's not 50-50. It's going to be slightly leaning towards Pollard. I kind of want to queen bee it right out the gate.
Let's go. Come on.
Now I'm gonna. So you said 44% Zeke. Oh man,
I think people are gonna take the blowout factor. They're gonna think garbage time, like we were just talking about. Zeke gets some run late.
I'm gonna go under. I can't queen bee it. I just
Joey taking the under on this one. And Joey, you brought up a good point that I forgot to mention during the rules. There is a third option besides over and under. There is the queen bee rule. If you think your opponent is exactly right, you can guess the push. It has never once successfully been hit on this show, but you do it for the glory. Statistically improbable in a game like this, but it's worth the same exact number of points as getting it exactly right. So you will get 10 points if you queen bee it and get it correct.
One day someone's
Chigaquanquo play. That's what
exactly. It is pure upside is what you got right there. We got some people in the chat. Geek Hippie with 40%. Grim going 37. Scamper's going 26%.
Meow.
DJ with 18. Albert with 33. And Gabe letting us know he's on the Pollard side here, taking the Pollard side in this poll. Well, guys, the actual percentage of people that chose Ezekiel Elliott in this poll was 22%.
Wow.
It was
I knew it should have been lower.
78% on the Pollard side. So, Drake, unfortunately, it's no points for you, my friend. Joey, you're going to get 2 for correctly guessing the over-under. Brian, I wanted to ask you, which one of these running backs do you prefer in Week 14, Ezekiel Elliott or Tony Pollard?
I will always take Tony Pollard just because he's so much more electric. He's got a better chance of breaking a long run. I love Tony Pollard. I think he's just a dynamic fantasy player. He's somebody that I'd love to have in my lineup because he can score so many different ways. Zeke is going to grind and do his thing and, jump in a kettlebell, but I'm always going to take Tony Pollard 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10. Screw it. Queen bee that 10
Every
times
time.
out of 10.
Forget that last dentist that's always messing things up. Joey, where are you going?
I'm also going Tony Pollard. You mentioned the kettlebell, and you should have heard the words flying out of my mouth when Zeke did not jump in the pot on Thanksgiving. It was
bad branding.
It's what you do, Zeke. That's your thing.
That's all he does anymore.
I think some defensive linemen or whoever the defensive players were that recovered that touchdown, they all hopped in the pot. So that was nice.
But whack-a-mole with the tight end.
Yeah, come on. Everybody's having a good time. It's Thanksgiving. But yeah, it's going to be Pollard for me. He's got that receiving work as well. But Zeke for this game alone, he's still a great play. And Jerry Jones is not going to completely ever go away from him. So
no, Jerry Jones insulates Zeke's value from Tony Pollard to a certain degree. He's still going to get the carries. He's still going to get the touches, but man, I think I'm with you guys. This is a position I've come around on this year. I was very much on the stop it with the Tony Pollard stuff. Just stop it. It's Zeke's show, but it's not. Tony Pollard's the real deal down there. I'm with you guys. We had a question in here from Grim Fan. He said, I just noticed I still have the Raiders to choose from for my Survivor League. Thoughts? So if I remember correctly, Grim, correct me if I'm wrong, you were leaning the Buccaneers against the 49ers this week, which is a tough matchup. He's also got the Titans available. So the Jaguars going against the Titans or the Raiders against the Rams tonight. Joey, which way would you be leaning?
Listen, the Raiders are a 6.5 point favorite in this game. That's what the line was this morning?
I believe so.
But we don't even know who the quarterback for the Rams is going to be at this point. Last I heard, it still could be Wofford or it could be Baker Mayfield, who has barely knows the playbook. So I think the Raiders is a pretty smart play here. I don't know when else you'll get to play in this season. So I would play the Raiders.
Luckily for Baker, the Rams have a really strong run game and offensive line that can help disguise a quarterback that's only been there for 2 days. So it shouldn't be too bad for him to adjust if he gets the start after arriving on Tuesday night. Absurd. Give me the Raiders. What are you doing, Drake?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the Rams defense looked good last week. Maybe it's because it was a rivalry game. They didn't like some of the guys on their side in Seattle. They put up a fight, but there's no offense here. There's no chance. You could kick a field goal with Daniel Carlson, and you're already out of reach for the Rams. They can't score.
So you like you like the under on the 42.5 then, unless you think those Raiders are going to score 40 points themselves.
Oh, you never know there. I'll give me the under, but give me the Raiders.
Under in the Raiders. Yeah, I think I like the Raiders right there. And Grim fan said, Walford, I heard as of yesterday. And today they're talking his health is questionable and it's going to come down right to the end. So we will see. Scamper's in here with another important question for us. Said, why do we believe dentists at all when 10% of them are dissenting? Like, how do we know which dentist we're talking to? Joey, how can you trust a dentist?
You can't. There's only one dentist you can trust. Dr. Brick Baker, who works here in Orlando. She's a dental hygienist and everybody should trust her.
You, sir, are an anti-dentite.
My dentist in high school, I went in there and I had like this old dentist for a long time, right? Like my entire childhood, I remember having like this elderly dentist. And so I'm in high school now and I'm sitting there in the chair and he comes out, he's like, hey, like I'm retiring at the end of this month. And we have a new doctor taking over the practice. I wanted to introduce you to him. And like, all I know of dentists are elderly men. That's who the dentist is. And in walks a freaking male model. Like we're talking like 10 out of 10, like on the cover of GQ, like Jimmy Garoppolo levels of handsome man who just walks in. And it was the first time in my life I was so expecting an elderly man that I was like, just like, this guy was so attractive, I lost my words. Like I was sitting there in the chair and I was like, you're not a dentist, you're a model. Like, what are you doing in my mouth with those gloves on?
This goes back to that same Seinfeld episode where you wake up from the gas and you zip up the pants. What's going on here?
My mom and the sister became big fans of the dentist after that, though. They didn't mind those appointments. They didn't mind those appointments as much. Guys, we're going to move on to our next poll. Joey, you've got a 2-0 lead after that one, and it is your poll. You ready for this next one?
Yeah, let's go. I'm ready.
Okay, here's your question. Do the Lions have the best offense for fantasy football? Side A, yes. Side B, no. What percentage of the people said yes?
So I always love these like one team questions versus all, because you always have to give 3% to every fan base. That's like math. I don't think the Lions have the best offensive football. They have one of the most fun offenses in football to watch for fantasy. Man, I'm going to go with a low number here. I'm going to go 11% on the yes side. Just because there's so many other teams out there, it could be that I think a lot of teams will split the vote.
Joey saying 11% on the yes side. Drake, what do you got here? Do the Lions have the best offense for fantasy football?
I mean, you look, they have the guy who scored the most rushing touchdowns in the league. They have a top 10 receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. They had the kid who was a top 5 running back last week in DeAndre Swift. But no, people have a preconceived notion that the Lions suck. I'm going to take the under on this one. I mean, that's a low number, but I'm still going to go under.
So, Joey, you said 11%, correct?
Yeah.
And Drake taking the under on that one. We had some guesses in the chat as well. Gabe in here with 50%. Ooh. Geek going 18%. Scampers agreeing with you guys, 11%. Albert on 15%. DJ with 50%. And Grim going 89%.
Man.
So we've got some answers all over the place for this one. Dame going with 24%. So right in between what you guys said. We'll see. Well, the correct answer, the percentage of people that said yes, the Lions have the best offense for fantasy football, according to 1,661 votes, was 40%.
Oh my God.
40% said yes. So I'm sorry, no points in this poll.
DetroitLions.com.
Yeah.
It was from Fantasy Focus Live is where this came from. So pretty big account, got lots of votes, but maybe the Lions fans got a hold of it. Drake, you made the case for them being the best offense in football, kind of sitting right there. And I think that's probably what happened. You've got all these names and then the bad defense to go along with it. Maybe that's what people are thinking here.
Hey, I got DJ Chark plugged into a lineup in a must-win situation this week. I'm hoping that he comes through.
So do I. I've got DJ Chark in a lineup this week as well. I did it this morning. I was like, oh no. Shout out to some people in the chat getting close on that one.
Yeah,
Gabe
good job,
and
Gabe.
DJ at 50%. You guys were super close. Brian, who would you say is the best offense for fantasy football?
But I mean, there's so many really powerful offenses that if you look at every position scores, oh boy. You know, I'd hate to sound like a homer here as an Eagles fan, but when Dallas Goedert was healthy, you had a top 5 quarterback, you've got 2 very good wide receivers, and you got a top 5 tight end. But the running back, is kind of hit or miss.
Miles Sanders has been killing it recently, like this year. Miles Sanders has been a good fantasy asset. I think I'm with you. The Eagles are up there.
I have a team.
Let's hear it.
Bengals. You have 2 top 10 wide receivers. You got Joe Burrow, who's been like a top 3 quarterback the last 5 weeks. Joe Mixon or P. Ryan. Hey, take their pick, whoever gets the run. The only thing they don't have is the tight end with Hayden. I mean, but then Hayden Hurst has been terrible. It's I'm looking through them. Detroit's got Hawkinson now, though. That is nice.
Or no, the Vikings have Hawkinson now.
That's what I said. The Vikings have Hawkinson.
Gotcha.
Kansas, if you want to just talk about what offense can get fantasy points, Kansas City. I'm in a 14-team. We talked about the Kings Classic off air. 14-team league, 3 flexes, full PPR. You can start anybody from Kansas City and feel pretty good. They're probably going to get you between 8 and 12 points. You can start, whether that could Justin Watson, excuse me. When MVS is available, or Hardman, any of the guys, whenever they're healthy and they're playing lineup, even Sky Moore's coming through. I mean, it doesn't seem like it, but he's not totally dead. So interesting offense.
Dallas is sneaky too.
Mm-hmm.
That offense, Dak Prescott. You got
with Dak
CeeDee Lamb.
Schultz is there. Yep.
Schultz is startable. Geek Hippie in here. What's up, Geek? Saying I'm starting both kickers in FanDuel tonight.
All right. What
do you guys think about that strategy? Drake, you all right with putting both kickers in a 1 slate lineup tonight or a 1 game slate?
I mean, these are 2 pretty good kickers. I love Daniel Carlson. I traded for Daniel Carlson in a redraft league this year. I traded Kyron Williams straight up to get Daniel Carlson, and I've looked like a genius ever since.
No, I love that.
On a hot streak.
Yeah, he had an early bye too, so you get his bye week out of the way, and then just stick him in that kicker slot, and you don't have to worry about it the rest of the season.
Exactly.
Love it.
Big leg can hit you, get bonus points per 40 and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Not much else you can ask for in a kicker. DJ in here wanted to know, and I assume you meant Falcons, and you said, are the Falcons doing the right thing by switching to Ritter, and does he have any value to start when they come back from their bye? Brian, what do you think here? Do you think they're doing the right thing in making this move?
Oh, yeah. This offense is horrendous. They can't move the football down the field. They can't score. They can't throw the ball. It's a joke. I mean, I do a segment on my Sirius XM show called, you were on the show, where it's called Hate the Drake. I talk about the players who let you down the most that week. There's always a Falcon on there. It's either Drake London or it was Kyle Pitts when he was healthy. Yeah. So, you have to go this route. They can't matriculate the football down the field like they want to. So, I mean, what do you have to lose? You're a terrible team anyways.
Absolutely. Even if it's a bad decision, they have to see what they have in Ritter.
Yeah.
They're going to have a pretty high draft pick again this year. So if, they give Ritter, 5 games left in the regular season, they give him a 5-game audition and he totally flops, well, then they know maybe they need to address quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right there with you. That's exactly what I was going to say, Joey. This is a tryout, right? This is we spent draft capital on them. We're not making the playoffs. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got in the rookie. And I'm excited for it.
The Mariota, when Mariota went to the Falcons, I was like, okay, whatever. And then when they drafted Ritter, I was like, that's why they went and got Mariota. Just because the offense it's a pretty easy transition. So
from Mariota to Ritter. Absolutely. I'm excited to see what he can do. I'm not starting him in fantasy. He should be rostered in Superflex fantasy leagues.
Mm-hmm.
He shouldn't be on the waiver wire in any Superflex fantasy leagues if he's going to be a starting quarterback, but I'm trying to avoid starting him. I mean, it's the Falcons offense and he's a rookie quarterback. Mm-hmm. Let's see what he can do. You guys ready for that next poll? Drake, this one's coming your way.
Please.
Let's do it. Here is your question. Who would you rather roster in Dynasty PPR? In the poll, in the answers gave their ages, so I'm giving you that information as well. Side A, Travis Etienne, age 23. Side B, Josh Jacobs, age 24. Or side C, Saquon Barkley, age 25. What percentage of people said side A, Travis Etienne, in this poll?
Boy, I play Dynasty a little differently. I play Dynasty in like 2-year increments. That's kind of how I look at it because things change so much. My answer in this would be Saquon Barkley. If I was going to pick one of these 3 guys, but if you want to pick Travis Etienne, people always love I love the youngest guy possible. I'm going to say 30%.
30% on the Travis Etienne side.
Yeah, I'm gonna final answer, Regis.
Joey, what about you? Where are you rolling?
Guys in my mind are pretty even for a dynasty, for a look at from dynasty perspective. But I think Travis Etienne's going to get a slight bump over the 33% if you add them all even. So I'm going to go over. I think the 30% line is really, really good, though.
Come on, let's see it.
I think people care about age a lot more than they should in dynasty, especially when it's this close between these guys. But running back age, it is a good factor. And
I need a win here. I'm standing up.
This poll made me realize just how quick running backs age in the eyes of fantasy managers. You know what I mean? Saquon Barkley, that's only 2 years older than Travis Etienne, but people are looking at him like he's a dinosaur, like he's an asset that you have to get out from underneath in dynasty.
Etienne also has kind of like, it's almost like he's 22 though, because he didn't play for a whole season. Now there was an injury there, so you do have that concern, but that mileage isn't there like a normal 23-year-old running back with Etienne. So
we got some answers in the chat. Grim in here saying 100% on Josh Jacobs, beast mode.
Love it.
DJ also saying Jacobs 100%. Mr. Scamper's coming in with 39% on side A, Travis Etienne. Albert with 45% on side A, Travis Etienne. And guys, the actual percentage of people that chose Travis Etienne in this poll was 50%.
Oh,
50% Travis Etienne. So that is 2 more points for Joey and Brian. I'm with you, my man.
Smoked.
Yeah.
I'm with you. This seems ridiculous to value Travis Etienne so much higher than Saquon Barkley with what Saquon has done this year. And he's 25. It's not like he's 28, right?
Well, yeah. I don't. If you look at this team, though, the Giants are very close. The Giants are a playoff team right now, but the Giants for the next few years could be very competitive. Whereas, the Jaguars are kind of making their way. They'll get Ridley next year and another year with Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. But I mean, they're only 2 years apart. And Barkley for the next 2 years could be a top 5 running back in fantasy. Travis Etienne is not going to be a top 5 running back for fantasy next year. It more than likely, you never know. Geez, who thought Josh Jacobs would be the number 1 running back in fantasy?
Yeah.
His own team didn't even extend him, but that's crazy. I got to get on the roll here, man. I stink. Yeah. So people are unfollowing me. Everybody who followed me to start the show are blocking me now.
This is the kind of poll that you see. And if you really love Saquon Barkley and you see that Travis Etienne's at 50%, go out and make those trades for dynasty. Because if you could probably make them, if half of the public body thinks that, go make that trade. Go get your Saquon Barkley for Etienne.
Yeah. And Mr. Scamper says this is a Giants offensive perception, I think. Maybe people aren't realizing that this Giants offense isn't as bad as it has been in the past. They look a bit better out there. They're not looking so rough. And Drake, the best part about this game is none of the answers are fact-based. So you can always just blame Twitter for the results of these polls.
I do.
You were right.
That's how I live my life.
Just blame, damn it, Twitter. We're out of milk again. You guys ready for the next poll?
I am.
So you are up 4-0 right now. This next poll is coming your way.
Let's go.
He's gotten 3 straight. Isn't he up 6-0?
No, I didn't get the other one.
He got skunked on his poll. He was he got no points on that one.
I shouldn't have though.
Went 11% on the Lions.
More in this than I thought. Now let's go.
Here we go. And you're just one poll, and you're back in this. Joey, who would you rather start in fantasy football the rest of the season? Side A, Bam Knight, or side B, Michael Carter? What percentage of people said Bam Knight, Mr. Zonovan Knight?
Simon, in the DMs today, we were so excited to be on stream together and we say nice things to each other. And then you come and give me a Jets poll. What did I do to you to deserve this? Listen, I like what I've seen out of Bam Knight the last 2 weeks. And I think Twitter seems to like what they see as well. But, last year, Michael Carter did not look bad at all. And then I think when Breece Hall went down, a lot of people got excited about Michael Carter. Rest of the season, though, there's an injury concern with Carter now. I'll go 53% Bam Knight. It's going to be close.
I'm
53%.
Blow the over on that.
Whoa.
75% Bam Knight.
Drake with no hesitation on the way over. He's saying it is so over right there. Got the over from Brian. We got some answers in the chat here as well. Mr. Scamper's coming in with 69%. Nice. Albert coming in with 60% on that one. And Ray saying need help. You just throw a number in there. That's how you play this game. Yeah. But if you need fantasy help, you can throw your question in the chat as well. We'd be more than willing to help you out, Ray.
And if you need some like turnips or anything, in Animal Crossing, come see me. Come to my island. Come check me out.
Oh man, turnips. My villagers probably miss me. I haven't played in months.
I need to mow those lawns. Let me tell you, there's weeds all over that damn place.
Yikes!
That little dog is just playing the guitar all by himself. Wonder where everybody is.
DJ in here says nothing wrong with my Jets. Bam Bam is a stud. 67%. Grim going 48%. Gabe with 50%. And Mr. Scamper is with the other tip. If you're really in need of help, you can dial 911 as well, depending on the severity of the need of your help. If it's a fantasy question, though, I recommend asking here first before you go that route. They're probably not going to be
I do know CPR.
So there you go. Maybe you don't need it at all in general. Well, the actual percentage of people that chose Bam Knight in this poll was 66%. So, Joey.
Oh, I will get a point.
You were 12 percentage points away. So you're going to get 1 point. And Brian, you're going to get 2 points.
All right.
Gaining some ground right here for correctly picking the over under. That's going to bring the score to Joey 5, Brian 2. And Brian, you emphatically said the over here. Does that mean you're emphatically on the Bam Knight side here as well? You prefer him rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, you just look at what the Jets are telling us. They say, even though Michael Carter is back and fully healthy, they say, we're not going away from this kid and he's going to get an opportunity. They brought him up to the active roster for a reason. They've obviously seen something in practice from him, and he's producing on the field, which is what you love to see. So more of Bam Knight, any rosters I have him on, I'm going to keep plugging him in and keep hoping for good things from the Jets.
How do we feel about Bam Knight this week?
Against the Bills?
You know what, though? He's not a 0 in the pass game, and I think they're going to try to limit Mike White. They don't want him dropping back and throwing, 60 times every week like we've seen. So maybe they're going to want to try to get something going here against Buffalo on the ground. Keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hand. That's a recipe for success. So it wouldn't shock me if they tried to get him going early with a lot of questions.
I've got him as an RB2 this week, so low end, but still, he's a start for me.
Also, I see Rain here saying my question isn't popping up on YouTube for some reason. I see the or Debo part. I'll look into that, Ray. I'll check on I'll see if I can figure out what's going on with that. But if there's any expletives in there, that could be a reason why it doesn't pop up. Or if there's any words, I'm not accusing you of saying an expletive. If there's words that could be used as an expletive in other contexts that are a part of your question, it may also be auto filtering it, auto moderating.
That's why mine always get blocked.
Yeah. It might have seen Cam Akers and just thought it was the poop word that we're not allowed to say. And so it just keeps censoring it. So
all good. Also, Racing, glad you like my pick. It's my fave game. We love some Animal Crossing here. Me and Joey are both big Animal Crossing fans.
Yeah.
Shout out to DJ, 67% on that one. 1 percentage point away. So close to the perfect answer on the real answer of 66%. Also, Grim coming in here with the hot tip saying, Ray, do a refresh because I had issues too. Yeah, maybe if you refresh the page, you can get that in there.
Okay, guys, let's all switch shirts. So when he comes back from the refresh, we're all wearing different outfits.
I'll do it. Watch this.
Take my it's like off. The time there was a time we had Scott Simpson on the show, and whenever it went down, like whenever the show ends and we've got the end banner on with the music saying like thanks for watching, we can see everybody at the bottom if we're logged into StreamYard, but the guest cannot. Like you can't see our picture if I move myself. But Scott didn't know that we could see at the bottom, and all of a sudden I see him down there thinking he's being real funny, taking his shirt off, so he's going to be there shirtless whenever the stream ends. So I take my shirt off, and then Josh takes his shirt off, and so it cuts, and Scott's ready to like shock us by his shirt being off, and Josh and I are both sitting there shirtless as well.
Tremendous.
Full on got him right there.
That is great.
That's funny.
Joey, you now have a 5-2 lead after that one, but Brian, you're making a comeback. You gained some ground.
Like the trios championship here on AEW. I gotta tell you,
comeback. And we are moving into our last round of polls before the final round. So we are going to implement another rule here, a new rule. Brian, since the last time you played Poll Perception, we've implemented this. There are now 2 more options you can use when guessing over, under, or queen bee. You may now guess the way over or the way under. If you guess way over, that means you think your opponent's guess is 15 percentage points or more off from the actual percentage.
Ooh,
now, this is a double or nothing mechanic. So if you guess way over and they're only 14 percentage points over, you're going to get nothing. But if you are correct, if they are 15 percentage points or more off, you're going to have 4 points to your score instead of 2. So keep that in mind. It requires.
I'm using it already. I have to. I'm fired. Whatever Joey says for taking the over.
That last one, those were 10. You can get 10 on the last one, right? Or is it no 5?
Here we go. Ray found a solution for us. So start Akers tonight over Bam and James. I'm guessing Richie James based on the question right there. So would you guys start Cam Akers over Bam Knight? Drake, we'll throw this to you first. No, you're starting Bam out there against the Bills?
I can't get behind starting anyone on this Rams offense. There's no chance. They're not going to score points.
Joey, what about you?
It's Bam for me. I'm not starting Cam Akers.
It's going to be Bam for me as well. There's just...
I'd start Bam Bigelow over the.
I would too.
We're getting the wrestling.
Bam. Yeah, we're gonna get more in there too. More wrestling references.
I'm gonna giggle each time, like I know what's going on right here. But you know, in my eyes and in my heart of hearts, that I have no idea what you guys.
Scissor party coming here at the fan.
Well, Simon, we're better than you, and we know it. So
yeah, you know what? I have always been jealous that I didn't get into wrestling as a child because it seems like everything I enjoy. It's a spectacle. It's fun costumes. It's athleticism. Like
there's still time,
it should be my thing.
Yeah.
It should be my thing. Damon here said LeBron for sure. So yeah, if you can start LeBron over Zonovan Knight or Richie James, I would go that route as well. Okay, guys, you ready to move on to our next poll?
Oh yeah, let's go.
There we go. And this one comes to you, Mr. Drake. You ready?
Let's do it.
Who would you rather have as a fantasy QB the rest of the season? Side A, Deshaun Watson, or side B, Mike White? What percentage of people said Deshaun Watson in this poll?
This question's rude.
See, you've also got to weigh the human element of people who just don't like Deshaun Watson for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to say the general majority of people leaned Deshaun Watson. And I'm going to say 57% Deshaun Watson.
57% Deshaun from Drake.
Now, again, I'm terrible at this game, as we've seen. So.
Joey, do you think the actual answer is over or under Drake's guess of 57%? Or way over, way under, or queen?
It's not. I don't think it's going to be way over or way under. This is really tricky. Man, I think some of the Watson hate died off. Not that it should have, but because he had a bad game. I think people were happy to see that. 57, I'm gonna go over. Oh man, it could be under. Yeah, over. That's
Joey taking the over here. And you made it a tricky decision for him, Brian. We'll see if it plays out. Gabe in here with 40%. Mr. Scamper is going with 28%. We've got Albert with 39%. And Maria, welcome in, Maria, saying hi, friends. Hi, Maria. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. I guess it's evening at this point, hardly afternoon anymore. Well, you guessed 57%. Drake, Joey, you took the over on that guess. Maria, last minute guess of 35. I didn't hear the question. The actual percentage of people that chose Deshaun Watson over Mike White rest of season. Oh, we got one more in here. Dame with 44% as her answer. And right at the buzzer, the answer is 44% is the correct answer. Shout out Dame getting that one exact one right. And Drake, you're going to get 1 point for correctly getting within 15 percentage points. And Joey, you got nothing.
I'm close.
So climbing your way back into this game. We got a high scoring affair of 3-5 in this game. There's been some brutal polls today. There's been some absolutely brutal polls.
It's brutal out here.
Drake, do you think Deshaun Watson is going to have better games than we saw in that first game back against Houston?
He can't be worse. It can't be worse. He's got really good weapons. He's a very, very talented quarterback. And, I hadn't played in 700 days. So, really, what did we expect? And he comes in, he's got like a week or two of practice with the team. And, here we are. So, yes, of course, it'll get better for for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, they
not saying I necessarily want to start him in fantasy, but it'll get better than what we saw.
They also lost 3 offensive opportunities because Cleveland took those into the end zone.
Yeah, it's a great point.
So, while he didn't play great, he also didn't have the opportunity to turn those turnovers into points himself. So, which we could have easily seen.
Weird game, 27 points, and they didn't score a single offensive touchdown for the Browns last week. You're right. That was just a bizarre game the way it played out. And we've already talked about Mike White a bit here, but Joey, are you trusting Mike White? Let's start with just this week against the Buffalo Bills. You rolling him out there?
I mean, the Bills' pass defense hasn't been as great the last few weeks, but still, I've got him as a low end quarter. He's QB 21 in a week that there's 6 teams on bye, so that's not very. I mean, I'm trying not to start him if I can.
And Brian, I know you told me before the show you're having to start him in Scott Fishbowl, right? What are your expectations for Mike White?
Don't die. I don't know. Just please stay on the field. Mike White, just don't blow up. Give me a game where you score, you throw for 250, a touchdown or 2, run around for 30 yards. Just don't embarrass yourself. I did want to say, cheap plug for your next show, Andrew Cooper, the tight end whisperer, just sent me a DM. I asked him the question about Moreau and Chig. He's going Chig with the upside. So on your show, right here, on pole position, I'm making the move. I got it on my screen. Add Chig, drop Foster Moreau. Boom. I just did it. You heard my phone vibrate in the background. We're in for the upside, baby.
It's decisions like that remind me, fantasy football is supposed to be fun, right? There's supposed to be a factor that's fun, and that is definitely more fun to start Chig than it is to start Foster Moreau. I'm excited to see what he does this weekend. Boom.
Wait, Brian, can we do it? Can you scissor me, Daddy? Can you do it? Yeah. Okay, sorry. If Jay Felicio is watching, he is gonna be hooting right now. Okay.
Simon is our daddy ass.
Yeah.
You gotta trust me. Watch the show.
I've seen him at the mall so many times, Billy Gunn, through my life. Yeah, he lives in Oviedo, Florida. Just so
monstrous
many times I've seen him. Huge, especially for his age.
We're speaking about Billy Gunn, but if you folks remember him from the New Age Outlaws.
Maria in here saying, "Love your background, Brian." She's a big fan of the background.
Yeah.
It is.
I got the Christmas tree down here in the man cave. Yeah. People ask me about this. See this little hustle? It's a goal post, right? That I bought on eBay, this hustle neon, and I'm a liquor salesman by trade. So that goal post, actually on the bottom of it has Crown Royal logos on it and stuff. And I took it from work. And I remember one of our merchandisers asked, "Hey, do you have that goal post? Can I have that back?" I'm like, No, you can't.
Sorry.
The account wanted it. They stole it.
That's too bad.
They're like, we see it behind you when you stream live on Facebook. That's not the same one.
That's from Amazon, 100%. Also, Gabe in here said, Joey, I'm in Tabari, go Orlando. So right nearby from Gabe right there.
Gabe, I am literally in Deltona, right across the highway from you. Gabe, let's meet up and watch a football game.
There we go, making connections on the FanDuel channel.
Follow me on Twitter right here.
You ready for your next poll, Joey?
Yeah, let's do it.
You're up 5-3. Here is your next poll. This is the last one before we get into our final round. It is very much still anybody's game, but you could make it hard for Brian on this last one right here, Joey, if you do a good job on this poll. You're on the clock in a Superflex Dynasty draft. Who are you drafting? Side A, Joe Burrow, or side B, Justin Herbert? What percentage of people said side A, Joe Burrow in this poll?
Listen, I think Justin Herbert's going to have a bounce back year next year when all his weapons are healthy, and I might regret the percentage I'm about to drop here, but I'm going to go pretty heavy on the Burrow side. I'm going to drop a 72% Joe Burrow.
Joey going with 72% on the Burrow side here. Brian, do you think the actual percentage of people that chose Joe Burrow is over or under Joey's guess of 70? You say 72%, Joey?
72, yeah.
72.
Boy, I think he's right. That's kind of where I would have went, but I'm wondering how close. Over under. Boy, Herbert's great.
He is great.
You know what? Give me. All right. The answer obviously is you do want Joe Burrow here, and I'm going to say you said 72.
I gave you some room. Yeah.
Do I want to go under here? because it is so close. You know what? Screw it. We're playing for the upside. I'm going over. People are they want over on Joe Burrow.
Taking the over right here. We have some guesses in the chat as well. Scampers with 69%, Gabe with 65%, Dave coming in with 34%, Albert with 63%, Grim saying 84%, and DJ 32% on A. Well, the actual percentage of people that chose Joe Burrow over Justin Herbert in this poll was 66%. So, Joey, you are 6 percentage points away. Going to give you 3 points, bringing you up to 8. And Brian, you're going to stay at 3. But
I should have went under. Damn it.
Yeah, that would have gotten you more
can
points.
Tie now.
Drink, which one of these players do you prefer in Superflex Dynasty? Burrow outplaying them this year, but Joey mentioned they've been having some struggles over there on the Chargers offensive side of the ball.
I mean, just imagine next year if Sean Payton is the head coach of the LA Chargers, which could happen. So who knows? Yeah, Herbert's awesome. 6'7". He's got great weapons out there. It's just his line's beat up. His receivers are beat up. His OC's a moron. He's got him throwing 2-yard out passes all day long. But he's a great player. But yeah, Joey B is something else.
Joey B is something else. I'm rolling Joey B here, but I love Justin Herbert. Man, that's close though. Like it is super close between those guys. I say that right now, but if you put me in a draft room and these two guys were on the clock, I would debate it up until there was 1 second left on the timer before I click Joe Burrow, I think. Joey, you rolling Joey B here as well?
Oh yeah. Everything I've seen out of Joey B has been phenomenal. I drafted him and Jalen Hurts as my quarterbacks in Scott Fishbowl. So I was a very, very happy camper last week. But Burrow, yeah, he's the last 5 weeks, he's been, what is it, QB1 2 times, a QB3, and he's been phenomenal. So it's Joey B for me. And I think Herbert will bounce back, like I said. Like I really do.
He will. Scampers in, you're saying that's 2 66ers. Yeah, we did have 2 polls with the answer being 66 today. Also, Maria wanted to know, do you think when his coach is mad at him, he calls him Joseph? When Zach Taylor's mad, does he call him Joseph Burrow? What do you think, Joey?
I don't. I think if he calls him Joseph, like Joe Burrow, like pulls out a cigar and just like stares at him dead eye. And I think that's probably what happens.
He's got to get the middle name in there too. Joseph Lee Burrow. It's got to be the full name for it to have that kind of ring. Also, Grim in here said, here's a poll for you. The percentage that the Jets make the AFC Championship game this year with Mike White, 0%. Giving us the answer there as well. Doesn't think it's happening.
Shade.
I'd go under.
Yeah.
Let's laugh at the Jets. Sorry,
guys,
DJ.
We're going into our final poll here. Brian, do you have pen and paper or a cell phone that you can write your answer on here?
I do.
Absolutely. Perfect. Then I'm going to read this poll. You guys write down your answer. Whoever's the closest is going to get 5 points, unless you're exactly right, in which case you will get 10. Here it is. When you go out to dinner, how do you prefer the lighting? Side A, well lit, or side B, dim? What percentage of people said well lit in this poll?
I'm going out to dinner immediately after this show. The wife and kids are in the car as my wife texts me. When will you be done?
Now, I like to be well lit when I go out to dinner, but
hey-o,
there we go.
Well lit versus dim. Who's picking well lit? All right, we're gonna go.
What we're trying to find. I guess we're not trying to find out who, just how many. What percentage of people walking around amongst us are just, I guess, not light sensitive or prefer to see every last bite of their food going in?
All right, got it.
You guys got your answers?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, let's go ahead and reveal them. What do you guys got?
As always, I put my number on a picture. That's a
41% from Joey. Is that what that says?
Yeah, and that's Kenny and Coda at a match that I went to. With the most beautiful belts you've ever seen.
Drake, does that say 28%?
28%.
We got 28% and we got 41% as our 2 answers here. We had some answers come in the chat as well. Gabe going 30% on this one. Maria with 50%. Mr. Scampers with 17%. Dame guessing 59%.
Can you pop
DJ
Gabe back up there?
Yeah.
When you're rolled through.
Gabe said 30% on that one. DJ with 100% dim. So all on the other side. He said, continue the romance.
Ooh,
You're not
DJ.
wrong, DJ. Keep the romance alive, my man.
Sexy
Albert
sack.
with 33%. And Graham agreeing with DJ here, 100% dim. You guys have been in lockstep on a couple today. I think you guys both said 100% Jacobs as well on that other poll. Well, the actual percentage of people that said side A, well lit, was 31%. Brian, that means you're going to get 5 points, and this game is going to end in a tie score.
Let's go!
Of 8-8 with the comeback, Drake. Congratulations on being our poll perception tire today.
Awesome. I thought the tie goes to the guest.
Tie goes. We'll call you guys co-champions on this Thursday.
I like
afternoon.
it. Hey, let's get some tag team belts. That'd be great.
We're interim champions
Yes.
to be decided on a Dynamite later down the road.
Love it.
Mr. Scammer said the only well-lit dinner I want would be at a sketchy gas station. 1,000%. I agree with you. I've always said like some of the best food I've had just driving through like rural Alabama and Georgia, and you pull into a gas station and they've got just like they'll have like a full ass restaurant behind a counter with one fluorescent light in there with
It's how
the
KFC
best
was
food
started.
you've ever eaten.
It was gas station food.
Really?
Yeah, KFC. The guy started KFC at like it was a gas station, and then they started selling it out of the gas station, and then people started to dig it, and he moved it around to other places. But yeah, my son loves the history of fast food.
That's cool.
awesome.
That's a cool thing to be interested in.
Isn't
there a place in Ohio that everyone goes get wings? It's like Quaker State or something.
That's a little chain. We've had some of those here in Syracuse. Quaker Steak and Lube.
Yeah, that's it. Is it
Yeah.
really a gas station, or is that just the name of it?
It looks like they make it look. It's,
okay.
It's like any little sports.
That
bar,
explains why they wouldn't pump my gas for me. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to Outback after this. That's our big.
That's not a gas station.
God, I love Outback. My girlfriend has a resentment for chain restaurants, so we very rarely go to them. But I love Outback and I love Chili's so much.
My wife's the opposite. She loves the chain restaurants. She's all in. Where the area I live is like, suburbia, so it's like strip malls with just tons of chain restaurants. So we have a lot of choices of chain restaurants around here.
I can't imagine ever going to a Chili's living in San Antonio, though. I'm sorry, Simon. I couldn't do it.
I mean, there's just infinite taco places here. So every once in a while, you just want Chili's. Let's answer one question here before we jump off, guys. A reminder for everybody else watching, we're going to hit this one right now. But right after this, starting at 6:05, 5 minutes after the stream ends, over on our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy, we will be live for Fantasy Football Office Hours doing nothing but answering your questions. Kate wanted to know, got Lamar. Should I stream Huntley, Goff, T-Law, Tannehill, or Carr? Brian, where are you rolling on this one?
I mean, you want a safe answer? Jared Goff. They're going to throw the ball a ton. Everybody can throw on Minnesota. Games in a dome. Why not? Yeah,
I'm rolling Goff as well. Last I checked, they were favored in that game as well, and it's supposed to be relatively high scoring.
Yeah.
Give me Goff. You going Goff as well, Joey?
I have him as my QB8. I love Jared Goff this week. I'm starting him in my main home league, and I'm excited to do so. I've got Justin Fields on bye, and when I saw the matchup for Jared Goff, he's at home. The home road splits for Goff have been fantastic for him. So, I'm all on Goff this week.
Also, Joey, Gabe in here saying, Joey, can you hit me up on Facebook? I don't have or do Twitter.
I don't have Facebook. There was too many horrible people.
Gabe, we'll figure something out.
Yeah, you're at Crane's Roost, where I filmed the very first Start Sits and Salutations. Is where Gabe is in that picture. I believe he's at Crane Roost. We're
gonna figure something out. I'm gonna screenshot your name, Gabe. We'll make sure we get something figured out for you and Joey, so you guys can get each other's information. Yep. That's gonna be it for us today, guys. Though before we go, a huge thanks to our guest Brian Drake. If you're not already following him, go and check him out on Twitter at Drake Fantasy. Brian, it's always a pleasure streaming with you, my man. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. You do, the Lord's work over here, having fun talking fantasy football.
And guys, we will see you all in 5 minutes over on our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy with our friend Andrew Cooper for Fantasy Football Office Hours. Until then, we are out of here. Adios, everyone. Enjoy your Thursday night football.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.